All right, I'm going to be wearing this shirt a lot because I really, really like it. I hadn't worn it in a long time because I thought for some reason it didn't fit me anymore. And then I remembered that it's like kind of stretchy. It's got some elastic to it. And so it fits me pretty well. So you're probably going to be seeing it a lot. Different shirt underneath. Hopefully not so many with like bleach stains, but it's comfy. I like it. Shut up. Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully this video will be going up Saturday. I'm actually recording this still technically on Friday night. I got like 8 minutes before it's technically Saturday, before it's midnight. But today's video is gonna come off a little weird, is gonna come off a little intense, but it's something that I've been going through, and it's something that I think some people, now, not everyone is going to benefit from this, but I feel like some people really need to hear this. I really needed to hear this. I really needed to kind of come to terms with it. Even though I technically more or less had been accepting it, it wasn't something that I acknowledged. It wasn't something that I, knew exactly what it was, but it was something that I needed to hear. And that is just suffer. Just suffer. Life sucks. Everything sucks. Suffer. I know that's going to come off weird. And yes, it is technically related to voiceover, but first I want to talk about in one area of my life that it actually has been, that it also kind of came up. And it's popping up in this one area of my life, and really me accepting it really kind of made the whole thing more or less come into focus. And that was the fact that I needed to lose weight. I had been slowly losing weight over this entire year. No one's noticed, no one's cared. But it wasn't that it wasn't that quick. I was like almost 240, and I'd slowly been losing weight. But then in the last 2 or 3 months, I lost over 10 pounds. And I hadn't been doing that much exercising. The exercising had not been helping me that much. And that was just because I decided to suffer. Just completely and totally suffer. Yes, I was eating healthier. I was reducing the amount of salt and sugar and fast food that was in my diet, but it wasn't enough. I needed to cut it all out. I needed to completely eliminate all of it. And off and on in the past 2 months, more so this week, these past 2 weeks, because these past 2 weeks I have been really not in a great mood. I have been angry, depressed, pissed off, and just kind of stressed all around for a lot of different reasons, but this was one of them. And I decided to just suffer when it came to food. And I'm having to suffer in a lot of different ways. Now, hopefully, it's not just suffering for the sake of suffering. There is suffering for the goal, for the sake of a goal, for an objective. And the objective is getting down to a weight that, number one, I will have more energy and better health to do the things that I want to do. Being more attractive is better for acting, even in voice acting, unfortunately. And I really got tired of just getting stood up. So I really needed to get a hold of this. Even though I personally don't think that dating someone based on just their looks I don't think someone's visual appearance is the most valuable thing. I've always been taught that. I've dated women that I personally didn't find attractive physically, but their personality I liked a lot. I've dated all kinds of people that are bigger than me in various different ways, people that, other people would definitely avoid, but their personality I genuinely liked. I liked the way they treated me. I liked the way that they, were around me. Now, of course, the actual successful dates were very few. The majority of it was me getting stood up, was me getting cheated on, was me getting abused in various different ways and bullied and harassed and ending up with severe depression. And so I thought that my thing was the fact that my personality, because I used to be really, really, much better shape. I was in boxing shape. That was my goal. I cardio boxed to get into shape, as well as other things. And I was in really, really good shape. And I focused a lot on trying to look better, on trying to present myself physically. And people just hated my personality. People hated that I was an introvert. People hated that I was shy. They hated the fact that I was kind of awkward and that my sense of humor didn't gel with everyone. And so I took like 6 years to just work on my personality. But then I didn't focus on this. And I worked on my personality, and I thought surely someone would care. And that's not the case, unfortunately. Sure, it might be the case that someone, if I saw enough people, eventually, the Russian roulette, that's not a great analogy. Found the right one. No, just eventually the craps numbers or whatever, gambling. Just go with gambling analogies. Eventually someone will find my personality to fit what they're looking for. But the problem is that we do judge most things and most people we judge most books by the cover. It's how we judge books. It's crazy. That's even like a thing. You don't judge a book by its cover. It's on the shelf. It has to catch my eye first. And unfortunately, that is a thing. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't beautiful people in every body type, every size and shape, whatever. You are. But if you're having trouble and there's no real reason, like there's not technically a reason, like I'm a professional fast food tester and I have to do that every day. Like there's nothing like that. There's nothing that's actually technically stopping me. I just wasn't focusing on it. I just wasn't focusing on my health. So now I eat 2 meals a day. Y'all saw the protein shake from the previous video, at the beginning of the previous video. Drinking one of those every single day. That's normally my breakfast. And then, as well as like a handful of vitamins. And then I will either have a bowl of steamed broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, or I will have a plain grilled chicken with no salt, no condiments, no nothing, on just a white bun with maybe a little bit of pepper. And that's it. Every now and then, a peanut butter sandwich, no jelly, obviously. Just really, really cutting down, and also apples occasionally, really, really cutting down what I'm eating. Now, I hate this. I'm miserable. I've been miserable for a while. I've been absolutely hating it. I don't have enough energy, but I'm not starving myself. I'm not technically starving myself. But it's also making me sick because because of my food allergies, there's a lot of stuff that I can't eat. And there's a lot of things that are in healthy alternatives, in healthy products that upset me, either upset my stomach or irritate my throat. And I've just been having to just deal with it, to just say, screw it, and suffer. And yeah, because of all that, and occasionally getting on the treadmill when I have the time. And yeah, because of that, I have been losing weight. And unfortunately, this means that I've been having to kind of reevaluate things that I type in response to people to make sure I'm not just coming off, just firing from the hip just because, I'm not feeling well, just because I'm unhappy and miserable. I'm hoping that's not coming off with everybody. I have noticed there's been a few people that I've responded to on Facebook or Twitter where it's like, "You all right, bro?" And I'm like, no. But again, I'm not saying that this is just an analogy. I'm actually going to get to the voiceover thing in a little bit. You guys know how I like to ramble. I'll probably put a timestamp because it's going on a little while. But the point is that for me to get a result, for me to get something that I wanted, that would benefit me, whether I agree with it or not, whether I think I should have to or not, it is something that I need to do. It's something that I need. And also, there's probably been like 10 friends in the past couple months that have basically told me that, this is exactly why I was just not getting any dates. There was one of the last ones, the dates. It was through Facebook or whatever. Messaged them. We set up a date. I'm at the diner, and I'm letting them know where I'm sitting so they can find me. And they just message, "Hey, I just went through your Facebook, saw the rest of your photos. You're not my type." And then just stood me up. And that was like basically when I was like, all right, I'm gonna not date for a while. But yeah, so for me, I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comment section going, "Don't worry about it, bro. Just fuck them." And I totally agree. But there's various different reasons that I need to get in shape. And I've been needing to for a while. And it is working for me. Point is I just have to suffer. Just a little bit. Even just a little bit, I have to suffer. Now, all of that is to say, and again, my friends have been, one friend was probably less friendly about it than others, and was like, if you're soft on the outside, pretty much all women think that you're just a soft bitch on the inside, whether you are or not. And your introverted personality does not help. So, it was some tough love. It was some tough love. But all of that is to say that there are some things in voiceover you're going to have to suffer as well, especially when you are an introvert, especially when you are more the nice kind of person. You have a nice guy or nice girl personality. For the most part, you can't just be a nice guy or a nice girl. You can't. In almost all facets of your life. In work, you're going to get run over. You're not going to ask for the promotion. You're going to get overlooked. You're not going to get the dates or the friends that you want. You're going to be a pushover. You're going to get taken advantage of by friends and family, all this kind of stuff. And that's exactly what I had to do with. Now, when it comes to working with clients, it's kind of the same thing. There's a lot of people that will email a client or email a potential client, a studio, an agency, or what have you, but they won't do the follow-up email because they're too nice. And this was my problem. And because they're too nice, they do not want to bother them. They don't want to aggravate them by sending an additional email. They're like, I'm going to send them one, and that's it. If they don't respond, then that means they hate me and I'll walk away. But you got to be a little bit more aggressive than that. And you got to, be willing to, let's say, you email them and they do not want you to email. And you're going to take that hit. All right, that's fine. But there's a real good chance that if it's an agency or a manager or a director, or producer, or a studio, they probably get a lot of emails. And there's a good chance that you sent it at a time that was like early in the morning for them, or they were at lunch. And then after you sent it, a whole bunch more emails pushed it down to the bottom, and they just never saw it. They just never got to it. That is possible. It is also possible that it just went to spam. That happens a lot. I have a client in, overseas that we had to work out some different method of them sending me scripts because they kept getting sent to spam, even though I'm like, it's a legit agency. It's a legit company. And so we had to work something out. And so it is possible it just went to spam. But if you send the follow-up, then they know to go look for it. But you'd never know if you didn't break past your initial instinct to be nice, to be friendly, and suffered a little bit of the cringe that you feel of, I don't want to upset them. If you just break past that, you might gain something. Now, another example, and this is very, very recently, and I got to show this off to a friend. Actually, I've gotten to show this off to a couple friends who really, really like this. And it's something that I wanted to do. And I might just do a whole video on this by itself because it is something I enjoyed learning. and I think it outlines a pretty big element of voiceover that I think you guys would benefit from. But it does technically fit into the suffer category. So I don't know if you guys know. For the younger people, you're probably not going to... People that are younger than me, maybe not, but people that watch a lot of cartoons in the 80s and 90s, there was a voice actor called Tony J. I think I'm saying his name right. I should be. And he was in everything. And I mean everything. And he didn't really do like a lot of different voices. He had one voice. He would change his accent and change his personality, but he really only had one voice. And it was perfect. It was perfect for every character he's ever done. He was the deepest, most bassiest, like the lowest register voice I had ever heard. And kind of like the James Earl Jones kind of category. But I would actually say that his voice was probably slightly lower than James Earl Jones. That kind of thing. And very bassy, had a lot of presence, but yet at the same time, there was a lot of articulation. He's probably most well known for doing Megabyte in Reboot, and also the tiger in Jungle Book, Disney's Jungle Book, the original cartoon. And he passed away many years ago. But he was always one of my top 10 that inspired me because I knew he was a voice that I couldn't do for the longest time. It was an impression that I wasn't even going to try, but he was so unique, so profoundly unique, and so recognizable. I was like, I want that. I want that kind of recognizability. I want that kind of the ability to have a voice that no one else can do. And so far, there's not really anyone other than the voice actor, which I unfortunately don't remember his name, but y'all can go look it up, who replaced him in the reboot series, Reboot Guardians or something like that, New Guardians. And so, because obviously they couldn't get Tony J, they had to get someone else to basically try to voice match for him so that they could have Megabyte in the series. And the guy they got was fantastic. He's pretty much the only one that I know that could get close. But for a long time, I wanted to be able to do his voice. Now I cannot do an impression, but I can do something now that's kind of an homage. It has kind of the flavor and kind of some of the detail of it. It has some of the things that I've really, really wanted. From that kind of, that booming presence boost kind of voice, that intimidating, powerful voice. And in order for me to get there, I had to suffer. I had to rip my throat up constantly, kind of like with doing the Gilbert Gottfried. In order for me to do Gilbert Gottfried, I had to constantly scream. I had to rip up my vocal cords. I had to get it to a point where it was high and nasally and all the way up there. And anytime I do the voice, if it's for a long period of time, it still hurts, but not as much. And that was because I had to suffer to actually push myself and endure this kind of technically physical pain in order to get to a point where I could do it more comfortably. And that's the point of suffering. Now I'm going to do my voice for you just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. And it is a throat ripper. It is a serious throat ripper. But some additional backstory. So anytime I learn to do a new voice, or I have to push my register, I have to say a particular thing over and over and over again until it becomes more comfortable, until it becomes more natural, until it becomes easier on me. And so, and also when I have a character voice, I give it a name. And so the kind of character name or character personality that kind of fit the majority of what I would say I remember Tony J doing, I named this voice, this character, the Master Computer. So basically I try to say this one phrase, and I kind of wrote down a phrase, a really quick phrase, and I would say that phrase over and over and over again until I stopped coughing. Because when I first tried doing this, it was agony, and it would rip up my throat. And I couldn't even get through the phrase. I couldn't even get through the line. So I had to keep doing it, and I would do it in the shower, I'd do it in the car, I would do it alone in the booth when I'm just editing and nothing else is happening. I had to do it constantly. And by the end of the day, my throat would be hurting, but I had to suffer in order to get better at this voice. All right, now to just do I had to adjust the mic because I want to get it real close. Just point it down a little bit more. But yeah, so this one hurts a little bit, but not as much as it used to because I went through the suffering. So here we go.
What foolishness brings you here before me, the master computer? State your business quickly and carefully, for I am not known for my mercy.
There you go. And yeah, I used to not be able to do that voice at all. I used to not be able to even get close, be able to do that entire line. And you can hear that I'm not straining. I'm not coughing. My voice isn't ruined. And that's because I had to do it over and over and over again to the point that it became basically natural. And that's going to be the same thing for me losing weight. I have to basically make this routine, make this schedule, because I came to the realization that nobody said that weight loss had to be fun. Nobody said that gaining something had to be enjoyable. Nobody said that achieving dreams or goals had to be even remotely painless. It's just not. It's not going to be. Now, there are going to be some people that aren't going to be able to handle this kind of concept, this kind of idea. There are going to be some people that aren't ready to try and basically make themselves uncomfortable in order to get where they need to go. There's going to be some people that are way too early in their voiceover where everything is terrifying and everything is awkward and everything is already uncomfortable and painful, and they don't got a rhythm yet to even break their habits. That's totally fine. But for some people who've kind of gotten a comfortable habit like I did, you really need to get shaken. You really need to get shook every now and then. You really need for somebody or something to punch you in the face and say, get at it. And you really need to just feel the pain of that punch and just let that motivate you. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. And so hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully, yes, it does involve voiceover. And yes, technically voiceover is fun. The majority of doing voiceover is fun. But the career side of it is very stressful and very painful, very awkward. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Totally fine. Subscribe if you're new, bell for notifications, and leave down in the comment section below if you'd like to see me cover any other topics, have any questions, what have you. Oh, and for those who do not know, I actually have a coaching gig on Fiverr now. So if you guys wanted to go there and instead of emailing me, you want to look at my rates or want to, if you're more familiar with Fiverr than anything else, that's totally fine. That'll be in the link description. But if you still want to work with me via email, you can still work with me via email. It's not technically exclusive. And yeah, that's going to be it. So until next time, peace.